What's going on, guys? It's Devin with a follow-up video to my 5 must-haves for when you go to the gym. In this video, I'm going to talk about a bunch of different stuff that I don't think you need on your trip to the gym. So this list could have up to 7 things on it. Several of them are going to end up falling into similar categories as to why you would need them and why you wouldn't need them starting out. So to kick it off with number 7, we have lifting shoes. So these specifically are squat shoes that I picked up a few years ago. You don't need them starting out, but they do provide a flat, stable surface for you to lift from. But if you're just starting out at the gym, there's no real reason to spend money on them. You're not going to get any insane benefit out of purchasing them, and they can run pretty pricey. So they can easily be well over $100, possibly over $200 just for a pair. And starting out, that's a lot of expenditure just to start working out. Following that up would be a weightlifting belt or powerlifting belt, depending on which one you're looking at. So I don't know a whole lot about belts. I've never had one, and I've never used one in the several years of lifting that I've done. But a powerlifting belt is usually made out of leather. I think they're around 10 to 13 millimeters thick, and they're about 3 or 4 inches wide, and they go around your abdominal section, and what they allow you to do is help bracing during your heavy compound lifts, so like deadlifts and squats. I've never used one, and I think it's one of those items that if you want to use it, you can, and I think it can help you. But starting out, it's, again, a money expenditure that you don't need to do starting out. Whenever you want to start using it, though, feel free to pick one up. Moving on to number 5, we have wrist wraps. So these are utilized during heavy pressing movements. And what they do is they wrap around your wrist and they assist with your wrist stability. So when you're either overhead pressing or bench pressing, it helps keep your wrist stabilized, and it can help you if you have wrist pain or if you want to just potentially have the lift feel a little bit more comfortable during the action. Now, I've used these wrist wraps effectively once, and I got them about 3 or 4 months ago, but I don't usually use them because I've had no problems with pressing movements, and I think they're, again, a thing that if you want to use them, great, but you don't need them to go to the gym. To follow on with those wrist wraps, you have actual lifting straps, which are used for your heavy pull movements. I don't have any because I've never purchased any, but there's something that you'll use for, let's say, heavy deadlifts or rack pulls, something where you can't physically grip the weight anymore with your grip strength, and you end up wrapping that around the bar, cinching it down, and gripping on top of it, which basically removes your grip strength from the equation for lifting. So most people can lift more than they can hold on to, and if that's limiting you, then you might want to look into that. However, again, starting out, you're not going to need them, and they're kind of just a waste of money to start out with. So another thing that you don't need to purchase is a foam roller. I have one because it does help out with some muscle stiffness and soreness, but I don't actively use it that much, and it's something that it just takes a lot of time to use, and I want to put my time towards other things. So spending 20 minutes a day foam rolling either before or after workouts doesn't really net me a lot of benefits, and I like to keep my workouts shorter and not have to do a bunch of stretching or foam rolling after. So again, it's one of those, if you want to pick it up, go for it, but you don't need it. And the second to last thing, so number 2 on the list, is a dip belt or a belt that you can add weight to for either dips, pull-ups, chin-ups, what have you. The reason why you don't need it is because starting out, there's a good chance you're not going to be doing enough repetitions with it, with those movements, to warrant adding weight to it. So starting out, you might not even be able to do a single pull-up, push-up, or dip. So buying that item when you can't actually do the movement to begin with is kind of pointless. It's not a super expensive item, but something else you can always do is go to a hardware store, buy a set length of chain and hook it to a weightlifting belt when you get one of those. And then you don't need the dip belt, or if there's one at the gym, just use that. You don't need to purchase it yourself. The only reason I have it is because I have a home gym here, and for pull-ups and chin-ups I needed to start adding weight, so that's why I have it, but it's not something you need. And the last thing, the number one thing that you do not need when you're working out are supplements. So anything like protein powder, citrulline malate, caffeine pills, whatever, you don't need them for working out. You don't need them to be productive. You don't need them to build a good physique. You don't need them to lose fat. You don't need them to perform better. You can do perfectly fine without any supplements. And there's going to be a lot of people that are like, oh, buy these supplements are the best, this is what I take, you should take this. And some people are just selling supplements and have a sponsorship, but they're not something you need. You can get everything you need from the food that you eat. So if you need protein, you can just eat protein sources. You don't have to have a protein powder to do it. You don't need a pre-workout to go to the gym. I have caffeine pills because one caffeine pill, 200 milligrams of caffeine. I usually take one before I work out, and that's what I do because they're like 5 cents a pill rather than pre-workout, which could be $30, $40, $50, $60 for a container with 30 servings, and then a month and a half later, you're throwing another $60 out the window when you could have spent 10, 15 bucks on a couple hundred caffeine pills and be good to go in your pre-workout. Plus the pre-workouts have a ton of extra caffeine and stuff in there, and they don't usually have a great listing of what's in them. So, in my opinion, supplements, not something you need. Again, if you want them, that's great, go for it, but look them up and pick the ones that are going to be most beneficial to you. If you want me to post a video about exactly what I think you should get supplement-wise, let me know in the comments section down below. If you didn't check out my last video, it'll be right up here or here, depending on which side it is. And until next time, have a good one, and your mileage may vary.